Hey gang, welcome to the video review of Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Voyager Class Bulkhead. Now, as you can see, this is the box, and like the Starscream figure, everything's red, which I find a little odd, because I would think that, Autobots red, Decepticons blue, or purple. See? Red. Same colors. But, obviously, Autobot. So let's go ahead and open them up, take a look at this figure, and give them a quick look over and a comparison to the first edition Bulkhead. And here we have Bulkhead out of the box. Now, Bulkhead does come with actually two accessories. The first accessory is this weird hammer, which I have no idea why the figure comes with this. It looks an awful lot like a hammer that a certain character named Breakdown should be using. And he also comes with his Powerizer mallet thing. This thing is bulky. I mean, this thing is... I'm not sure if it's badly engineered, but it sure as heck is bulky. So you push this bit down, and it has the typical red glowing light. But the cool thing about this is it actually spins the hammer. So you do it fast enough, and the hammer will spin. I actually do kind of dig that. I actually approve of the spinning hammer. But other than that, this thing is just really big and really bulky and does not look good on the figure. And it actually really causes some stability issues with the figure because the figure has trouble standing sometimes in certain poses. I mean, look at that. That looks like a tumor. Okay, so overall the figure doesn't look too bad. It's not an awful looking figure. He does have an issue with his shoulder pads though. As part of the transformation, the shoulder pads actually do not attach to the arms in any way. So they're just kind of free floating. And that's a problem because you could end up having the arm up like this and then the shoulder pad folded back like that. It's just dumb, but it's part of the transformation, so I kind of just deal with it. Another issue is his mouth. Now, his head is actually pretty good. His head is pretty close to show accurate. But his mouth can move up and can even pop off completely. So, oh dear God! So you kind of have a zombie Bulkhead walking around there. Mouth is just a piece of badly colored plastic, so unfortunately, let's see if I can't get that back on easily. Yep, goes back on pretty easily. Just got to get everything lined up. Head moves side to side and has very limited up and down movement. Mouth moves. Shoulders, you've got part of the transformation here. You've got this in and out movement. Then there's a ball joint up here at the shoulder, a swivel joint right underneath the shoulder, a double hinge joint for the elbows. Unfortunately, the wrists don't move due to the transformation, but they do have an in and out motion. No torso articulation. Legs, ball joint, then a swivel joint right underneath, hinge joint for the knee, and then the feet can move a little bit per the transformation, but they are locked into place thanks to these green pieces of plastic. From the front, the figure doesn't look too bad. And from the back, it's pretty, I wouldn't say accurate, but it's pretty compact. However, I think this figure pales in comparison to the first edition figure. The first edition figure, to me, is just a much better figure, even though I do have it slightly mistransformed. Now, I will admit, the Voyager Powerizer is a much easier transformation than the first edition. I like the first edition figure a lot, but also I love the fact that it's got this mace, and that mace can plug into the hand. That is an important, I guess, feature for me because it's much more show accurate. And I just like the look of this figure, and its transformation is much more satisfying to me personally. Now, I'm not saying that the Powerizer version is a bad figure at all. I just happen to like the FE version better. Transformation for this guy is actually pretty similar to the FE version. We'll start off by just simply unpegging the hammer, which, as I said, I don't know why it comes with this hammer. We'll start folding up the hands and then putting the arms straight down to the side and turning them to point in like that. Next, we'll come around to the back and actually fold up the rear of the vehicle mode, so that'll be the vehicle mode rear, and then take the head and flip the head back like that. Next, we can take the shoulder pads and actually rotate them back and kind of around like this. So let me just click that into place, and I'll show you again what I did. What you do is, I like to pull the arms as far forward as you can, take the shoulder pad, collapse them, and then twist them completely around so the black is pointing to the back of the figure. And then come under here and just it kind of doesn't peg into place, but it should. And I actually screwed up. So what you're supposed to do is take the arms first and fold them back. And then you can move the shoulder blades back. When you move the arms back, take the swivel that is just under the ball joint and turn it so that the inside of the elbow, double hinged elbow, is pointing towards the inside of the figure. And then we could take that and that and get that there. And then we'll just get the arms lined up and peg them together. And just kind of push them back out of the way. Next, we'll take the front of the figure, which will be the doors in vehicle mode, and fold them out of the way, and back like that. Then we take the front of the figure and fold it completely up like that. Alright, now the legs are a little weird. So first we're going to rotate the legs 180. So we've got the legs pointing back. Then we take the feet and actually collapse them up into the back of the legs. And then take the plastic, the green plastic, and collapse that as far back as it'll let you go, which will be just past the foot. Then push the legs forward and collapse the what was the hips up into the vehicle mode. And there, I went the wrong way with these bits. The wheels don't fold back, they fold forward. And then just raise them up and peg them underneath the hood. Sorry, I've only transformed this thing about 5 times, and I keep forgetting certain steps because I keep trying to transform this guy, and he transforms a little differently. Okay, so once everything is up, then we'll just close the doors on the front of the vehicle, take the arms and collapse them up into the rear of the vehicle. And they don't really snap into place, they just kind of sit there. And then close the rear of the vehicle down like that. And then fiddle around and make sure all the shell bits connect and everything looks good. And here we have the vehicle mode. Now, I will be first to admit that this vehicle mode is not half bad. I don't particularly care for the clear bits here on the top of the vehicle mode, but overall, not too bad, and it works pretty well. Though there is a considerable amount of robot kibble sticking out of the bottom of the vehicle mode, but that's to be expected. And the weapon can plug into the top of the vehicle, like all power risers, which I think just looks silly. Actually, you know what this makes me think of? This makes me think of a news truck for some reason, or some kind of non-violent weaponry, maybe like the military has, where this is a thing that produces low-frequency sound to cause people to barf, and this is a disco ball of death. I don't know. So, it's not too bad. Though, I still think this weapon is stupid. But compared to the FE version, I was actually pleasantly surprised. It's not that much smaller. It is a little bit smaller in height and overall size, but not that much. And I have to admit, I'm really impressed that Hasbro has been able to make smaller vehicle modes, but the robot modes aren't that much smaller, which I have to give a nod to Hasbro for that. Now, as anyone who owns the FE version can tell you, this transformation can be fiddly at times, and I have had some trouble with the transformation into vehicle mode with this guy a couple of times. But the transformation for the Powerizer version, I think, is easier, and that is kind of a bonus. But as you can see, the detailing is very similar in the front, and then in the back, actually, I think this is supposed to, I think this part is actually supposed to flip down. But as you can see, the detailing on the figures, not that much different. Yeah, there are some paint apps that the FE version has that the Voyager Powerizer version doesn't, but that's okay. I can deal with that. But, I mean, they're both equally good vehicle modes. I think with this figure, Hasbro does have a success on its hands. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but it's a darn good effort, and I think they've done a good job with this figure. I still prefer the FE version, and that's kind of with almost all of the versions of the figures in the FE line that I have, except for Viacon. Viacon definitely is better in RID than the first edition, so that is a bonus in my opinion. But I think this is a good figure. I don't think you're going to be too depressed if you can't get the FE version. Now, as of the time of this recording, Hasbro has stated that they're trying to hammer out a plan with all the people that made the first edition figures to re-release them because of the fan outcry. So that is something to look forward to. I think it would be nice if people could get a hold of the first edition figures. That I really, really think would be a good thing, because they're excellent figures. But, you know, the Powerizer figures aren't a joke. I mean, they're pretty good. Between the Bulkhead and the Starscream, they're not bad. Yeah, Starscream has his own set of issues, and so does this Bulkhead figure, but, you know, they're not bad figures at all. I mean, they're fine. They're not as good as the FE versions, that's for sure, but there's nothing wrong with them. And I appreciate that, because as long as there's nothing like horribly broken about them, they're still recommendable. Not perfect, but if you can't get the first edition figure, Powerizer Bulkhead is still pretty darn good.